I am Lizzy with Long Distance Gamers, and today I'm going to be talking about Longshot the dice game. What do I think about it, and more importantly, how do we play it? I will also be going over a slight change for if you play remotely without the other players having a copy, but that'll be a couple seconds, so I'll just go that within the how to play, and then come back to my fresh thoughts. So let's go ahead and get started. So here we have the game set up. First thing first, you would set out 8 of the horses, as well as the 8 horses on this line. Depending on if you got the Kickstarter version or the Barnes & Noble version, you could have different sets of these. You would just put one for each one of the numbers out, and then the rest of these can go back in the box. You will hand each player one of these. If you are playing remotely, then you will go ahead and take a picture of this and send it to the people if they don't have a copy. If they do have a copy, then they can just play with their own. And then you give everyone one of these. They cross out the numbers, match it up with what it says on here, and then these can all go back into the box as well. That's with those boxes. If you are choosing to play with the mini expansion track, you would just shuffle these up and bring 2 of them out. And then you just go by. So like this is the new rule. So first player, which is Brooksy, he would draw a mud print on one of them. So maybe he'll draw a mud pit over here. So now if any of the horses go through there, they'll have to stop and end their movement. But we'll go over to how the house horses move in just 1 second. So what will happen is the first player or the side running the game will roll the dice. And then you will move that number horse that many spaces. So the 6 can move 1 and 2. And this is actually going to turn around. And then we look at the 6 horse. And 2 and 3 will also move forward 1 space. So the number you roll rolls however many you roll. So you could move 1. Anything that has an X on it, you move that along with it. And then everybody, starting with the first player, gets to do 1 action. The actions can be, as it shows right on here, close up of that. Sorry about the pink screen. So one of the actions could be the concession, which you would get to mark that one on this. So if you'd want to, he could take the 6 and go ahead and put it right there. And I forgot something about startup. We all start with 12 money. So you could do concessions, or you could do helmet. So you would take the 6, mark off the helmet. And then what that means is that normally if a horse gets past this area, you could no longer bet on them. But that would make it so that you could bet on the horse between these 2 spots. Or you could mark the horse on the jersey. And if that's happening, you can then take the card for the horse and mark an X on any additional number. So considering Brooksy started with the 6 being one of the ones that he wants to get forward, he might make it so that 6 will go an additional spot every turn. And again, you only get 1 action. I'm just showing what all the actions can be. You could bet. So you could spend money, either $1, $2, or $3. Maybe Brooksy will want to spend $3. So he could bet $3 more on here, changing this 4 to a 7. So he's betting a lot of money on there. Or you could buy the horse. So what that is there's a dollar amount on all of these horses. So this is $4 and $6, for instance. So you could spend $6 and buy that horse. So you would take that 9 down to a 3 to take off the 6. And then you put this in front of you. And that now becomes your special player. So this is a when bought, so you get to mark any of the discs, helmets, or jersey and apply the same thing. And if you ever do fill up a column or row on these discs, you get to then cross off one of these numbers. You could get money, you can move horses, you could get free bids, you could get some of these. And then anytime, like say a 5 was rolled, but Brooksy doesn't want to do anything with the 5, he could use one of his wilds to turn that into a 6 for himself only. So that's basically it. If you ever run out of wilds and can't do anything, you could spend your 1 action for that turn just erasing one of these wilds. And then after Brixie rolls, and all 3 of us will do 1 action, then the rolling will then go to Kitty, and she might move. So then the 4 would move 2, so it moves 2 and drags along the 2 only. Okay, and then we all do 1 action, starting with Kitty, then me, then Brixie, and then we move this over, and then I go. Then I roll an 8-3, so whoosh, the 8 is on a roll. And it drags along the 2 and the 4. And so on and so forth. So something these add, so of course like this one you would have to stop even if the roll 2 was a 3 and he could make it there because of this muddy thing, he would have to stop there. And then this one is you could instead gain money equal to the number of this. So instead of doing anything, you could instead gain 3 money, which Brixie might want to do because, well, he's a little bit low on money at this time. But the game continues on until all of these horses make it around, and they're racing around, and they're dragging along these others until 3 of them pass this area. And we'll get 6 because that one's owned. So then we will go through and we will add up the victory for all of these. So if you own a horse, that's what this first one is. So Brixie, if this is our example, and these would be here. Ah! We're having horses run away! So Brixie had owned the 6, so he got 15 there. He has 1 set of both of those for 5. And then the biddings. So the 1 is between these 2 spots. So he gets 2 times 1. So he gets 2. So he pretty much just gets his money back. And then 6, because it's third, he will get 7 times 3. So 35. So altogether that's 37. So that will go there. The amount left over, and then you add that all together, so he would get 40, 50, 60. And then whoever has the most money at the end of the game is the winner. So the only thing that you do really differently for remote play is if they don't have a copy, one person rolls the die, and you send a picture of these before you start, so that way they can edit it on their phone, or you could photocopy and laminate it, or if you're really generous, you could send them through the mail to them until they get their own copy, and then they could send it back. Okay, so that is how you play Longshot the dice game. As you can see, it's a fairly easy game to do. It's a very fast game. The few times it was over before I had really even started, I'm going, I didn't do anything. We just kept rolling the same number over and over and over again and going, no. But I find it really interesting that you can drag other horses along, and of course, these lower numbers you saw in the few examples where they were being pulled along more often, so they had less payout for those odds if they were in first or second. So if 8 comes in first, they get $9 per each bet, versus number 1 only gets $5 per each bet because 1 is more likely to win. So I find the statistics on that really interesting. I like all these horses have different powers. I really like the variability that comes with it. But I really like that this mini expansion that is the track events expansion. I don't know if this is... So you could probably get this from Perplex. If you go to their website, you could probably get that. I really like this because this expansion just adds a whole variability that everyone can take advantage of. Not just people that have the horses and get a slight difference in the powers. But I like that this game just has so much variability packed in with all the horses, with that track events, and then just how the dice are rolled can determine which one is. And then you find that you are rooting for which one. Like, you want 8 to win. Like, you want 8 to be pulled along because you want to get that, and you want it to get first place because you want $35 because that's going to be a lot of money. And you'll bet heavily on it, and you'll mark up the 8s all along, and you'll use your wilds to be able to place more bets on 8s to get it up there even more, so you can get more of a return. I find the game so interesting for it being a really quick game. Like 15-20 minutes and it's done. And then you want to play again. And yes, technically this is a roll and write because, well, you're rolling dice and writing on this. I don't really think that this is a roll and write in the actual sense of it. It's a racing game. This is just in place of having tokens on the board and money slots. It's just a use of a scorecard. Not really a roll and write in the typical sense, which is why I like it, because it's not carbon copy of all the other roll and writes we've seen. It's interesting. You're brought in, you're betting on these horses, you're wanting them to win, you're wanting to buy them, but also you're wanting to mark them with the jersey so that way you could get your 8 on there, mark the 8 on that horse, because, well, you really want the 8 to do better. You want the 8 to be dragged along when the 2 is rolled. So just that push and pull is really interesting, and I cannot say this enough. I adore this game. This is a very easy 9 out of 10 for me. I love it, and I cannot wait to play it again. So until next time, just remember to have fun, be present, and be you. Thank you all for watching. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to reach out to us. We would love to hear from you. Also, if you find value in our content, please like, comment, or subscribe. Let a friend or family member know that we exist. Help us spread our channel and bring remote gaming to a table near you. Thank you very much, and have a great day.